President, I have listened very attentively to all those who have spoken, but somehow my views are totally and fundamentally different. Your Excellency, I'm happy you are now seated when I have this opportunity to speak. I associate myself 100% with some of the sentiments expressed by distinguished Senator Dixon. That these chambers is not a place you bring contractors to, because by doing that, we give them an undeserved respect. But my first question, why I say I'm happy you are the one on seat. I was a governor in Edo State, the way we have a federal government at the federal level. When I issued or I approved the recommendation of a tenders board or procurement process, and a contract is awarded, and I confirm from the Ministry of Finance that money has been paid, I go around to check if the money paid, if the job being done is up to the value of the money that has been paid. And should I find that the contractor is no longer working, even when we have paid, it is not the House of Assembly that helps me to bring an irresponsible contractor to justice. The first thing that we do, following the laws of procurement, because there's always a contract. In that contract, there are usually clear provisions as to what should be done when money has been paid and the contractor abandons site, or if the contractor is at site, is working at such a low space of work that the job might not be completed within the time frame provided for in the contract agreement. But my people have a saying that when an elderly man has shared akara with a small child, he loses respect in the eyes of the child. That we are discussing a contractor here who appear to be more powerful than the Ministry of Works that awarded this contract. I think these two people who are arresting the president, they are part of those who have spoken. Asuko, we will issue warrant of arrest for lawyer, SAN.
I'm with you.
What do we do when a senator left his seat while a distinguished senator is on his feet in order to confuse and try to persuade the Senate President, and you are diverting his attention? It is my privilege to be heard clearly without disturbing the President.
Yes, you are right. And
I don't have to be a boxer to be able to keep you under control. So, sir, Mr. President, I am sure in your 8 years as governor, you have had cause to deal with contractors who collected money and thought it was a Christmas gift. Please, do I have the permission of the House? Osita, please. So, sir, my first question, who is complaining?
committee.
Is it the committee that awarded the contract? Is the minister complaining? If the minister is not complaining or is pretending to complain, should we not make exactly the same anger on the minister as well as his agent, the contractor? When a man who gives you a job can no longer call you to order, there are questions to be asked and there are hard answers that must be provided. The man who gives contract cannot be helpless unless he compromises powers. So the anger of my brother, distinguished Senator Oji, should be directed at the Federal Ministry of Works. And like somebody said, evil petty contractors collect money and walk away. And there are no consequences. And I want to ask for those of us who have had the privilege to give jobs, even in our personal capacity, when you pay your contractor with evidence and you have agreement that says once you pay, a job is done. If the contractor doesn't do it, why are you not invoking those sections not only to terminate but to use law enforcement? Because this is not a civil matter, it's a contractual obligation that can have a criminal implication. And then get the security information agencies to recover the portion of the money that has been paid and for which no job has been done. For the committee to now be the one chasing a contractor and the federal ministry seems to be indifferent, suggests that we are directing our anger not to the source of the problem but to the consequences arising from official neglect by those who are empowered to enforce contract agreement. I therefore submit, sir, with profound respect, that the Honorable Minister of Works is as implicated as any other person. Because in the first instance, he is the one representing the executive in awarding this contract. He has a story to tell as to why his contractor has become more powerful than him. Until we do that, I think we are being misled into chasing a contractor. Who is this contractor that is so powerful? More than the federal government, more than EFCC, more than all the agencies that are put in place to deal with people who are involved in criminal embezzlement of public funds. So I submit, sir, that everything we have said of we should say even more to the Ministry of Works that awarded the contract. There is no evidence they have the power to revoke the contract, and they have the power under the law to get that part of the payment for which they have no work, to recover that money to public treasury and award the contract to another contractor under clear terms of contract execution.
Thank you.
So let us not shy away from the root cause of the problem. May we not engage anyone that is beyond our capacity to bring under control. Don't hire who you cannot fire.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, let me point of order, sir. Point of order. Let me give an opportunity to the
point of order, Mr. President.
We will be dragging ourselves backwards with points of order. This is a constitutional issue. Is your point of order going to be above the Constitution? Senate President Emeritus.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I'm Ahmed Lawan, I represent Yobe North. Mr. President, let me join my colleagues who spoke earlier to say that what we are discussing is of a fundamental consequence. But I have a different attitude to this. And here, I would like to state very clearly that committees of the Senate, whether special, ad hoc, or standing, are coordinated by the Senate leader or office of the Senate leader. Mr. President, to me, when committees have issues with either contractors or agencies they supervise and oversight, they should start with Senate leader's office. In a situation where we have a contractor, and here I will agree with so many of our colleagues who said we shouldn't be discussing Julius Berger here the way we are discussing it, because it's like the ministry has failed, Ministry of Works, and now the entire people of Nigeria are talking about Julius Berger and a contractor that has signed agreements, and those agreements are meant to be kept by both sides. Mr. President, when we have issues like this, plenary is not the best place because you won't get the best information. When we are in a closed session, you will hear a lot more than we are hearing now. Because at that point, it will be no whole bad. So I will advise that we have said enough. Either we go into closed session now and deal with it and conclude on how we go forward, or we may delay it, but I believe that discussing it in plenary does not help the Senate. And therefore I agree with the submission of Senator Saraki Dixon, and of course partially with the submission of my friend and brother here, the former NLC president, the senator representing Edo North, Senator Oshiomhole. But I say partially, the Senate committees of the National Assembly can invite a contractor. Why? If the minister has failed or the ministry has failed, we approve the funds and we want to see value for money. We want to see economy. We want to see prudence in the way and manner our funds that we appropriated are utilized. So in conclusion, Mr. President, I will advise that we should find a way of going into closed session and open up so that we deal with this issue. And like many of us said, it's beyond Julius Berger. And this has been a recurring decimal in most sessions of the National Assembly. Ministers, heads of agencies, contractors, sometimes, or many times, they will simply ignore. And when I served as chairman of Public Accounts Committee, which I did in this Senate for 8 years, I knew how the Senate President then gave us the support by signing 1 or 2 warrants, and everybody started to be a better person. We invite you, you will appear. So, Mr. President, I advise, let's go into closed session, and when there is need for signing a warrant, Mr. President, don't hesitate. We have to make example of some people and some institutions. Thank you very much.